My name is Matthew Carter, and I have been driving long hauls for over 20 years. The road is my companion and my punishment. I keep moving because stopping means thinking, and thinking means remembering. The truck hums beneath me like a restless animal, and I keep my eyes locked on the dark stretch of Highway 287 heading north through Texas toward Amarillo. The night air is heavy with the smell of dust and heat, even though the sun has been down for hours. It is late September, and the sky is a solid mass of cloud. The moon is buried somewhere behind them, leaving the highway in a strange half-darkness, where the glow from my headlights feels thin and fragile. Every few miles, the shape of a barn or a dead tree flickers in the beam and disappears again. The CB radio is silent. I had turned off the music an hour ago. I wanted to hear the road breathe. Somewhere past the town of Vernon, I see a faded sign leaning forward, as if the wind has been pushing it for years. It says, "Rest stop 5 miles." I do not remember a rest stop here, but that does not surprise me. This part of the route is not one I take often. My stomach growls. I have been running on gas station coffee since dawn, and the idea of a meal in a quiet place sounds good enough to pull me in. My bladder also reminds me that stopping might be more than a luxury. The exit comes up faster than I expect. The ramp curves away from the highway into a stretch of cracked asphalt. The street lights are dim, their orange bulbs casting sickly halos. At the far end of the lot, there is a building with a low roof and peeling white paint. Above the entrance, a flickering neon sign struggles to spell out Carter's Grill. For a moment, I think the sign is mocking me for sharing my last name. No other vehicles are parked here. No trucks, no cars. Just me and the building. I cut the engine, and the silence hits hard. Without the growl of the truck, the night feels too big. The wind is barely moving, and the air smells stale. I step down, boots crunching on gravel, and lock the rig. As I cross the lot, toward the diner, I notice the glass in the front door is so clean, it almost disappears. Inside, I can see tables lined with empty chairs and a long counter stretching toward the back. The door gives under my hand without resistance. A faint chime sounds as it swings open, but no one comes to greet me. The smell inside is strange. Not bad, not rotten, just wrong. Like the air in a room that has been sealed for years and only just opened. I glance around. The place is spotless. Not a crumb on the tables, not a smudge on the floor. I walk toward the back, where I see a sign for restrooms and let myself in. The fluorescent light buzzes overhead. The sink gleams. The mirror is so clear it feels like a window to another place. I wash my hands after and step out. When I return to the main room, I am no longer alone. A man is sitting at the counter near the center. He is tall, even while seated, with broad shoulders under a crisp white shirt. His hair is silver and combed, straight back. His skin is pale in a way that makes it hard to guess his age. He could be 50 or he could be 80. He does not look at me right away. His hands rest on the counter, long fingers drumming in a slow rhythm that almost matches the hum of the lights. I hesitate, then walk toward him. As I pass the first few stools, he turns his head and meets my eyes. His gaze is sharp and bright, and for an instant I feel as if I am being measured, weighed, and recorded. He nods once and gestures to the stool beside him. My first thought is to keep walking, maybe call out for staff, but something about his presence pushes at me. I sit down. "You are late, Matthew," he says. His voice is smooth but carries an edge, as if each word is pressed through a thin blade. I feel my throat tighten. I have never seen him before. I ask who he is and how he knows my name. He smiles faintly, the kind of smile that suggests he knows far more than he will say. He tells me he has been expecting me for a long time. Before I can question him further, he stands and walks around the counter with the ease of someone who owns the place. He asks if I am hungry. I tell him yes. He disappears into the kitchen without another word. The clink of metal and the hiss of a burner come from behind the half door. I glance toward the entrance. The glass looks darker than before, almost black. I try to see the parking lot, but the outside world has turned into a wall of shadow. The man returns with a plate. On it is a steak so perfect it looks unreal, steam curling from its surface, and a side of baked potato dripping with butter. I cannot remember the last time I had a real meal like this on the road. I start eating. Each bite is rich and satisfying, almost too much so. I find myself slowing down because my body feels heavy and my mind fuzzy. I look up to find him watching me from the other side of the counter. His eyes are not just bright now. They are reflecting the light in a way that makes them seem almost metallic. When I push the plate away, he asks if I enjoyed it. I say yes. He leans forward on his elbows and tells me he has an offer for me. My instincts are screaming to leave, but my legs do not respond. He says he can give me what I have been missing for 20 years. My hands tremble. He speaks the names of my wife and son, both dead since a crash outside Wichita Falls. He tells me I can see them again. Not in memory, not in dreams, but in flesh. I tell him that is impossible. He says nothing is impossible here. The lights flicker, and in that brief stutter of darkness, I hear voices. My wife's laugh. My son calling for me. When the light steadies, I am standing. I do not remember rising from the stool. The man slides a folded piece of paper toward me. It is blank, except for a single line that reads, "I agree." A pen rests beside it. I ask what the cost is. He says it will be explained when the time comes. He promises I will have 20 years before. He returns. I pick up the pen. My fingers feel stiff as if the air has thickened around me. My name crawls across the paper in my own handwriting. The moment I finish, the man takes the paper, folds it, and tucks it into his shirt pocket. He shakes my hand. His grip is strong and unbearably hot. Pain lances up my arm and into my chest. I pull back with a gasp. The room is empty. No plate, no counter, no man. I am standing in a dark field beside my truck. The diner is gone. The air is cold and wet, and the grass bends under a wind I cannot feel. I look toward the highway and see the faint glow of passing headlights far away. My heart is pounding so hard it hurts. I climb into the cab and start the engine. My hands are shaking on the wheel as I pull onto the road. I tell myself I will forget this. I tell myself I am dreaming. Half an hour later, I see lights in my mirror. Not headlights, but the warm glow of a house. I know there is nothing out here. For miles, I slow and look again. The light is behind me, following at the same distance, no matter how I speed up or slow down. I grip the wheel tighter and do not look back again until I reach Amarillo. At the motel, I check in without speaking to anyone more than necessary. The clerk seems distracted, barely glancing at me. In the room, I lock the door and sit on the bed. My phone shows no signal. I try to sleep, but every time my eyes close, I hear footsteps in the hallway outside my door. When I finally drift into uneasy dreams, I see my wife and son standing in the shadows, their faces hidden, their bodies motionless, and behind them, the man from the diner smiling with his bright metallic eyes. When I wake the next morning, there is a folded piece of paper on the nightstand. It is the one I signed. My name is gone, replaced by a date exactly 20 years from today. The date on the paper burns itself into my mind. 20 years from now. I fold it and shove it into my duffel bag, telling myself to throw it away later. My hands will not do it. I keep it like it owns me already. I check out of the motel without breakfast. The clerk does not ask if I slept well, and I do not offer an answer. The morning air is sharp. The sky is a pale gray, heavy with the promise of rain. I climb into the truck, start the engine, and pull onto the road, heading toward Denver. The cab feels smaller today, as if the walls have closed in by an inch or two. My coffee tastes bitter. A few hours into the drive, the weather turns. The rain comes hard, drumming on the windshield in thick sheets. Visibility drops, and I slow to a crawl. My wipers fight to keep up but lose. The CB crackles to life, a burst of static followed by a voice that I know. It is my wife's voice. She says my name. The sound is warm and soft, like it was the morning before she died. I slam the radio off. My hands are shaking again. I keep driving until the rain thins and the clouds tear open to let through a strip of sunlight. I tell myself it was just a memory rising up in the storm. I know better. By the time I cross into Colorado, the sun is setting. I pass a gas station on the edge of a small town called Walsenburg. I do not stop for fuel, though I should. I just want to reach Denver and disappear into the crowd. Yet a mile later, I see something on the side of the road. A figure. It stands just beyond the shoulder in the tall grass. A man in a white shirt, silver hair. His head turns as I approach, and those metallic eyes catch the last light of the day. I look ahead quickly, but when I check my mirror, the grass is empty. My chest is tight, and I realize I am holding my breath. Night falls fast in. The mountains. The highway snakes through canyons where the darkness feels like it is pouring downhill to swallow me. My headlights catch shapes that vanish before I can see them clearly. Branches, rocks, or maybe not. At a rest area outside Pueblo, I finally stop for fuel. The place is nearly empty, except for a single sedan, parked far from the pumps. The windows are tinted black. No driver inside. No license plate on the back. I fill the tank and go inside to pay. The cashier is a young man with hollow eyes, who never blinks. When he takes my card, his hand is cold enough to make me flinch. He says, "Have a good night, Matthew," though I never told him my name. Back on the road, I keep my eyes locked on the asphalt. The thought of looking in the mirror makes my skin crawl. I push through the night until I reach the industrial edge of Denver and find another motel. The neon sign outside buzzes like a swarm of angry bees. Inside the room, the air smells faintly of burnt wood. I check the walls, the bathroom, under the bed. I know I am being paranoid, but the feeling of being watched has grown heavier with every mile. I lock the door, wedge a chair under the handle, and try to rest. Sometime after midnight, I wake to a sound. A slow scrape across the carpet. I freeze. My eyes adjust to the dim light from the street lamp outside, and I see something near the foot of the bed. Two small shapes, bare feet. I follow them upward and see a child standing there. His face is in shadow, but I know the shape of his hair, the tilt of his head. My son. I speak his name, but he does not move. The air grows hotter. Then the shadow peels back enough for me to see his skin. It is pale, but split in thin lines like cracks in porcelain. Black ash flakes from the gaps. His mouth opens, but instead of a voice, I hear the scrape again. And the sound is coming from the other side of the bed now. I turn and see my wife standing there. She is taller than she should be, her head nearly brushing the ceiling. Her arms hang too low, hands open and empty. Her skin bears the same cracks. Her eyes are bright metal. I sit up fast, and the room is empty. My chest heaves. Sweat runs down my back. The street lamp light is gone. The window is black, as if it has been painted over. I grab my bag and leave. The hallway smells like damp soil. My boots make no sound on the carpet. Every door I pass is slightly open. Inside each room is a bed with someone lying on it, their faces hidden under thin white sheets. None of them move. I do not look twice. I find the stairwell and push the door open. The stairs lead down and keep leading down. I take flight after flight until my legs ache, but there is no ground floor, just more concrete steps. I stop and look up. The door I came through is gone. Somewhere below I hear a door creak. Then footsteps, slow and steady, coming up toward me. The echo makes it impossible to tell how far away they are. I back up a few steps. The sound grows louder. A voice rises from the shadows. "You signed Matthew." the same smooth edge in the words. I turn and run down the stairs, because going up is no longer an option. My breath echoes like another set of footsteps, chasing me. The air gets hotter. A light appears ahead, a thin strip under a door. I throw myself toward it and slam through. I am standing outside in the field from before. My truck is parked in the same place. The air is cool again. I do not question it. I get in and drive. Hours later, I realize I am heading south, back toward Texas, though I never made the turn. The highway signs confirm it. I do not remember steering this way. My hands ache from gripping the wheel too hard. At dawn, I pass another rest stop. The sign says Carter's Grill. The building is there again. White paint, low roof, neon sign flickering. The lot is empty. My stomach twists. I press the accelerator. The truck groans as I push it past the speed I normally allow. The building disappears behind me, but the knot in my chest stays. I do not know where I am going anymore, only that the road will not let me go. The sun is already high, but its light feels thin. The sky is pale and washed out, as if someone drained it of color. My truck moves along a 2-lane stretch somewhere between Wichita Falls and nowhere. I have not slept since leaving Denver. The world outside the windshield feels slow, like I am watching it through water. The CB has been off since the storm, but I hear voices anyway. They are faint at first, almost whispers under the growl of the engine. My name spoken over and over. Sometimes the voice is my wife, sometimes my son, sometimes it is the man from the diner. I grip the wheel and keep my eyes on the road. A sign flashes past on the right. Mile marker 64. I glance at the odometer. I drive for what feels like 20 minutes. Another sign appears. Mile marker 64. I tell myself I must have imagined it. Another 20 minutes. Mile marker 64 again. The air in the cab thickens until each breath feels like I am pulling smoke into my lungs. I slow the truck. The world outside slows with me, but not naturally. The trees along the shoulder sway in unison, though there is no wind. Every branch moves to the same invisible rhythm. I look in the mirror and see only black behind me. No road, no sky, nothing. The voices in my head grow louder, overlapping, fighting to be heard. One says stop. Another says keep going. Another says turn around. I shout for them to shut up, but the sound that comes out of my mouth is not my own voice. It is deep and raw, and full of something I do not understand. Then I see the figure ahead, standing in the middle of the road. White shirt, silver hair, metallic eyes. He is closer now than he ever was before. I slam the brakes, but the truck keeps rolling as if the road itself is carrying me. When I reach him, he does not move. I swerve to the shoulder, but the moment I pass, he is in front of me again. I swerve the other way, and again he is there. The mile marker behind him always reads 64. I slam the brakes hard enough to rattle my teeth. The truck stops dead. I grab the door handle to jump down, but it will not open. The air in the cab is hotter now. My skin feels like it is blistering under my shirt. The figure walks toward me. 1 step, 2. With each step his face changes. For an instant it is my wife's, then my son's, then faces I do not know, all burned, all staring. By the time he reaches the hood of the truck, he is himself again. He tells me it is time to see what I agreed to. He raises his hand and presses it to the glass. The heat surges through the cab, and the windshield ripples like water. The world beyond it melts away. I am no longer on the highway. I am standing in my old house in Fort Worth, the one that burned 20 years ago. The smell of smoke is fresh. My wife and son are upstairs screaming. I run to the stairs, but the steps stretch out ahead of me, longer and longer, until I am running without moving. The man appears at the top. He holds my son in one arm and my wife in the other. Their bodies hang limp. He asks if I want them back. I say yes without thinking. He drops them. I scream and lunge forward, but the stairs vanish beneath me. I fall. When I hit the floor, I am in the diner again. The plate of steak is in front of me. I am holding the fork. My hands are younger, the way they were when I first started driving. I drop the fork and it clatters against the plate. The man sits across from me. He tells me that bargains are never what they seem, and that time does not move the same for those who sign. He waves his hand, and the walls of the diner dissolve. Around us is nothing but black. Shapes move in it, tall and thin, with joints that bend the wrong way. They whisper in voices that are too many to count. The man says these are the ones who came before me, all still paying. One of the shapes steps forward. Its skin is my skin. Its face is my face, but hollowed out. It says my name in a broken version of my own voice. It reaches for me, and I feel my legs give way. I hit the floor and the blackness closes over me like water. I cannot breathe. The whispers turn into a roar. In the roar, I hear the date from the paper repeated again and again. Then I hear a new date, sooner, by years. The man laughs and says, "Some debts are collected early." A sudden burst of light blinds me. I am back in my truck. The odometer shows I have gone less than a mile. The sign ahead reads, "Mile marker 64." Again, I put my foot on the gas, but the truck will not move. The figure is in the road, closer than ever. His eyes burn like hot metal. He smiles and says the first payment is due now. The cab door unlocks on its own. The cab door swings open. I do not remember standing, but now I am outside, my boots on cracked asphalt. The road is gone behind me. The air smells of rust and wet metal. The man is gone too. I stand alone in a narrow street, lined with houses that look like they have been burned from the inside out. A sign hangs from a leaning pole at the corner. It says, "Welcome to Plainfield, Illinois." I have never been here before. The wind carries a sound that is not wind. It is low and deep, like a church organ buried underground. I walk toward the nearest house. The door hangs on one hinge. The windows are gone. Inside, the walls are black and soft to the touch. My fingers sink into them as if they are made of wet ash. Something moves inside the wall, pushing against my palm before sliding away. On the floor is a photograph in a cracked frame. It shows my wife and my son sitting on a couch that is not ours. Behind them in the picture is a man I do not recognize. His eyes are bright silver. I drop the frame and it shatters without sound. I step back outside. The street is longer now. More houses, all burned. At the far end is a church. Its steeple leans forward like it is bending to watch me. I walk toward it. With every step the light dims until the sky is the color of slate. The air grows thick. The church doors are wide open. Inside there are no pews. The floor is covered in water so black it looks solid. At the center is a single chair. A man sits in it with his head lowered. His skin is pale and stretched tight. When he looks up, I see that his eyes are gone. In their place are dark holes that breathe in and out. He tells me my place has been prepared. His voice comes from inside my head. I take a step back, but the water rises around my legs. It is warm and heavy like blood. Shapes move beneath the surface, brushing against me. The man stands. Water pours from his empty eye sockets. He walks toward me, and with each step, the church stretches taller, the ceiling vanishing into blackness. I turn to run, but the doorway is gone. Only walls remain, slick with the same breathing holes as his face. The water reaches my chest. A hand grabs my ankle from below and pulls hard. I fall under. There is no bottom. The darkness below is endless. In it, I see lights like distant stars, but when I swim toward them, they move away. Something brushes my face. I open my eyes and see my son suspended in the black water. His skin is perfect. His eyes are open. He reaches for me. I pull him close, but when my arms close around him, his body collapses like wet paper. Inside is nothing but ash dot. The ash swirls around me until it becomes a storm. The sound of the organ grows louder, shaking my bones. I feel the water drain away, though I am still floating. Then I am standing on dry ground again. I am in the middle of a street market. People move around me in slow motion. The air is heavy, with the smell of meat cooking. I turn and see a vendor slicing something on a wooden board. When he looks up, it is the man from the diner. He smiles and tells me I finally made it to the right place. I look down at his board. The meat is not meat. It is my own hand. My real hand is still attached to my arm, but I can feel every slice he makes. The pain crawls up my arm and into my chest. He tells me that all roads lead here, and that no one leaves with everything they arrive with. He offers me the sliced pieces wrapped in paper. I refuse. He says refusing is the same as agreeing. The crowd stops moving. Every head turns toward me. Their faces melt away like wax. Beneath the skin is silver light. All of them have his eyes. They begin to walk toward me in silence. I run. I push past them, but their bodies are soft and warm like bread dough. My hands sink into them as I try to shove them away. Their silver eyes glow brighter until the light fills everything. Then I am back in my truck. The odometer reads, oh, 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 oh. The highway ahead is straight and empty. But in the mirror, I see the town, Plainfield, still burning, still waiting. The highway is silent except for the hum of the engine. I keep my eyes locked on the yellow lines, because I know if I look into the mirror again, the town will still be there. My hands are tight on the wheel. My chest feels heavy like I am carrying something alive inside it. Up ahead a green sign flashes past. Chicago 65 miles. My brain tells me that means safety. But the part of me that feels the air knows I am not going toward safety. I am going toward a place it can reach more easily. Something shifts in the passenger seat. I turn my head, and for a second I see nothing but the worn leather. Then the seat sinks as if someone has just leaned back into it. The smell of wet ash fills the cab. A voice says my name, not loudly, not threatening. Just my name spoken as if it had been spoken every day since I was born. The sound comes from the empty seat. My chest tightens. I tell myself to keep driving. My fingers are numb. The voice says my name again, but this time it draws the syllables out, like it is tasting them. The road ahead begins to ripple. The lines bend like they are painted on water. I feel my truck slowing though. My foot is still on the gas. Then the world outside the windshield peels away like a page torn from a book. I am no longer on the highway. I am standing on a frozen lake, under a sky that is the wrong color. The ice is black, and I can see movement far below. The air smells of iron. My truck is gone. The voice is still here. It is behind me now. I turn slowly. A figure is standing on the ice 20 feet away. Its body is tall and narrow. Its head tilts slightly like it is studying me. It wears clothing that looks soaked through with dark liquid. I cannot see its face because there is no face. Only a smooth surface where a face should be. It begins to walk toward me without sound. The ice does not crack beneath it. I step back, but the ice under my boots fractures with each move. Cracks spider out in all directions. The figure stops. It raises its head, as if smelling the air. Then it says my name again, but this time it is not the voice from the passenger seat. It is my son's voice. The sound shakes me. I want to run toward it. I take one step forward, and the ice groans. Beneath my feet a shadow moves quickly. The cracks widen. The figure lowers its head. The smooth surface where its face should be splits open from top to bottom. Inside is nothing but silver light. It spills out across the ice like liquid metal. The cracks glow with it. The voice says my name again, but now it is my wife's voice. My knees weaken. I feel pulled toward it. Every step forward closes the distance between us faster than it should. When I am only a few feet away, the light inside. Its head flares so bright that I see shapes in it. Faces. Some are strangers. Some I know. My father, my brother, both dead, all looking at me with eyes that burn white. The figure tilts its head again and says, "We are here now. We are not leaving." Then it touches my chest with one long finger. The ice beneath me shatters, and I fall through. The cold is so sharp it feels like knives under my skin. I sink fast. The light from above fades. In the darkness below, something opens its eyes. Not two eyes, hundreds, all blinking in unison. The current grabs me. I am pulled down toward those eyes. I feel a mouth close around my arm, but when I look, there is nothing there. The pressure builds in my head until I cannot think. Then I hear the voice again, so close it is inside my skull. It says, "You belong here." Then the ice above bursts open, and I am back in my truck. My arm is wet. The steering wheel is cold. My headlights shine on a road sign that reads, "Welcome to Plainfield, Illinois." I slam the brakes and pull the truck onto the shoulder. My hands shake so hard I can barely turn the key to kill the engine. The silence that follows is worse than the hum of the tires. The air inside the cab is warm, but my skin is cold. My breath leaves pale mist in front of me. I need to move. I need to put as much distance as possible between me and that sign. I get out, leaving the engine off. My boots crunch on gravel as I walk toward the dark field beside the road. No lights, no houses, just the wide flat stretch of Illinois farmland. I start walking. My plan is simple. Cut across until I find another road. Get to a town. Take a bus out of the state. Anything to get away. I push through dry stalks of corn that rattle like bones in the wind. After a while, I stop and listen. The wind is gone. The sound of the stalks is gone too. I look behind me, and there is no truck, no road, only more corn. The moon is high overhead, but its light feels dim and thin, like it is shining through dirty glass. I keep moving, forcing my way forward. My legs ache. My throat is dry. I have no idea how long I have been walking. Then I see a break in the corn. A narrow dirt path curves ahead, lined with fence posts that are all leaning at the same angle. I follow it until the corn ends and the ground opens into a small clearing. In the center is a wooden bench. Sitting on the bench is the man from the diner. He is eating something from a paper bag. He smiles as if he has been expecting me. He pats the space beside him. I do not move. He tells me that every direction is toward Plainfield. That distance is not the same here. I tell him I will walk forever if I have to. He says forever is shorter than you think. I turn and walk back into the corn without another word. The stalks close around me. The air grows heavy again. I push forward until my arms burn from forcing the plants aside. Then I see light ahead. Warm yellow light. I break into a run and burst out onto pavement. My boots hit asphalt. I look up and freeze. The sign is there. "Welcome to Plainfield, Illinois." My chest tightens. I walk past the sign without looking at it. The road stretches ahead in a perfect straight line. I keep going, counting each step to stay sane. At some point, the yellow lines start to look wrong. They twist slightly, curving in ways that make my eyes hurt. When I glance to my right, I see houses moving past me, sliding along the fields like they are on rails. Their windows are black. Some are closer than they should be, leaning toward the road as if trying to see who is passing. Up ahead there is a figure standing in the middle of the road. It is tall, too tall, with limbs that seem jointed in the wrong places. I slow, but it does not move. Its head tilts, just like the faceless thing on the ice. I decide to cut into the ditch and go around it. I slide down the embankment into wet grass and start moving parallel to the road. The figure stays still, but every time I blink, it is closer. By the time I reach the point where I should be past it, it is standing right in front of me again. Its body bends forward until its head is level with mine. I can feel the air where its face should be. It says my name in my father's voice. Then it says it again in my son's voice. Then in a voice I have never heard but somehow know belongs to me. The ground under my feet shifts. It feels like I am standing on a slow-moving conveyor belt. The ditch rises, tilts, and I fall backward into darkness. When I land, I am back in the driver's seat of my truck. The key is in the ignition. The odometer still reads, oh, 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 oh. Outside the windshield, the road sign waits. Welcome to Plainfield, Illinois. The sign stays in my headlights until I cannot take it anymore. I turn the wheel hard and drive away from the highway onto a narrow road that cuts through farmland. I push the truck faster than I should. The tires scream on the turns. My only thought is to find a person, any person, who can tell me I am not losing my mind. After 15 minutes, I see lights ahead. A gas station. Its fluorescent glow cuts the darkness like a blade. I pull in too fast, tires bumping over the curb. My door slams open and I step out, my legs trembling from more than the cold dot inside the station. A man stands behind the counter. His nama tag says Daniel. He is stocking shelves with small bags of chips. The smell of stale coffee hits me. I tell him I need help. I tell him there is something wrong with the roads, with the town, with everything. Daniel looks at me without speaking. His eyes are wide, but there is no fear in them, just a blank interest. Then he asks if I am sure I want to leave Plainfield. The sound of the name makes my skin crawl. I demand to know how he knows where I am from. He shrugs and says everyone is from Plainfield, sooner or later. Then he smiles. It is not a normal smile. It is too wide and too slow, like the muscles of his face are learning the shape for the first time. I step back, my heel hitting the base of a display rack. The chips rustled at the bell over the door rings. A woman walks in carrying a plastic jug of milk. She wears a long coat and her hair is damp from rain that is not falling here. She turns, her head toward me, and her eyes are the same pale gray as Daniel's. She says my name in my mother's voice. I drop my keys. They hit the floor with a metallic snap. The woman steps closer. Her lips move, but the sound that comes out is my own voice, repeating my name over and over, each time louder, faster. I grab the keys and bolt for the door. The cold air slams into me like a wall. My truck waits at the pump, but when I open the door, the interior light is red instead of yellow. The dashboard glows with numbers I do not recognize. Behind me, the door of the gas station creaks open. Daniel and the woman step outside together. They move in perfect sync, their feet hitting the pavement at the same time, their arms swinging in the same arc. The sound of their steps is wet, as if the ground itself is soaked in blood. They stop 10 feet from me. Their faces shift. Not all at once, but piece by piece, the skin moving like wax under heat. Daniel's mouth becomes my brother's. The woman's eyes change to my wife's. They say my name together in voices that should not come from them. I slam the truck door and turn the key. The engine roars to life. I throw it into reverse, nearly hitting the gas pump, then shift to drive and floor it. The headlights catch the two of them watching me as I leave, their faces still moving, still changing. When the station disappears in the mirror, I try to calm my breathing. The road ahead curves left. I take it too fast, tires skidding. When I straighten the wheel, I see a green road sign in the distance. It reads, "Welcome to Plainfield, Illinois." The green sign glows in the beams of my headlights. I grip the wheel until my knuckles ache. This time I do not drive past. I slam the brakes, skid to a stop in front of it, and put the truck in park. If the road keeps bringing me here, I will tear it apart. I grab the tire iron from behind my seat and step out into the cold. My boots crunch on gravel as I approach the sign. The metal looks new, the paint flawless. I swing the tire iron hard. The clang echoes into the fields. The sign shakes but does not dent. I hit it again and again until my arms burn and my shoulders throb. Still no mark. I turn my attention to the post. I swing low, hitting the base until splinters fly. It takes longer than it should, but finally, the post cracks and the sign tilts. I keep hitting until it falls into the grass. My breath comes in, sharp gasps. Satisfied, I drag the sign to the ditch and shove it face down in the mud. I climb back into the truck, turn the key, and drive forward without looking back. The road is empty. The moon is high and pale. For the first time in hours, I feel the smallest trace of relief. That relief lasts 3 minutes. I round a bend, and there it is again. The sign, standing straight, paint perfect, metal gleaming. Welcome to Plainfield, Illinois. My throat tightens. I slam the brakes, put the truck in reverse, and backtrack to the spot where I dropped the first sign. It is gone. Not a broken post. Not a patch of disturbed mud. Only grass swaying gently in the night air. I climb out and stare at the ground until my eyes water. Then I notice something. The grass is not swaying because of the wind. It is breathing. Each blade rises and falls, as though the soil beneath hides some enormous sleeping thing. I step back toward the road. The breathing stops. The night grows silent. A sound like a whisper moves along the ditch. I cannot make out the words, but it grows louder with every heartbeat. I run to the truck, throw the door open, and floor the accelerator. The engine howls as I fly past the sign without looking at it. The road narrows until it feels like the cornfields on either side are pressing in. The stalks are too tall, towering over the truck, their tips bending toward the windshield. The dry leaves scrape the glass, leaving long pale streaks. Then, the pavement under my tires ripples. At first I think it is my eyes, but no, the asphalt moves like water under heat. I swerve, but it follows my wheels. A crack appears ahead, running across the lane. I aim for it, hoping to tear through, to shatter whatever this place is. The moment my front tires hit the crack, the road closes again with a sound like wet leather snapping shut. The jolt almost throws me into the dash. When I look in the mirror, the pavement behind me is smooth. The road will not let me break it. I keep driving until the lines blur in my vision. My chest is tight, my fingers numb. I start to think I hear footsteps in the bed of the truck. When I glance into the mirror, I see the faint outline of a figure crouched there, unmoving. Its head bent too far forward, then the headlights sweep across the next bend. The green glow waits ahead. Welcome to Plainfield, Illinois. The green glow of the sign is like a wound in the darkness. I slow down this time, not because I want to, but because my hands refuse to grip the wheel tighter. My foot eases off the gas without my telling it to. The truck rolls forward as if the engine and the road have agreed on where I should go. The sign passes on my right. I keep my eyes forward, but I can feel the letters on my skin like heat from a fire. When I breathe out, the air in the cab tastes like rust. Something shifts in the back seat. The sound is soft, just the press of fabric, but the air changes. Heavy now. My shoulders ache under it. I do not look in the mirror. A voice arrives in my head. It does not pass through my ears. It is already inside, as if it has always been there, waiting. You cannot leave, Matthew. I bite the inside of my cheek hard enough to taste blood. I do not answer. You were always coming here. Every road bends this way in the end. I tell myself it is a hallucination from exhaustion. I tell myself to keep driving. The voice speaks again, and this time it uses my own tone, my own rhythm. You remember the bridge on County Road 6? The one you swerved to avoid that deer? That was me. You remember the tire blowout on I-55 last winter? That was me. You remember when your father called you to say he was sick, and you drove all night without stopping? That was me too. My grip on the wheel loosens. I can feel my own pulse in my fingertips. You think this is your life, Matthew, but it is only the road between places. Plainfield is the place. I glance into the rear view. At first, there is nothing. Then the shadows fold in on themselves, and the outline of a head appears. No eyes, no mouth, just the shape.